Hi, everybody. This is Lips from the band Anvil. You are listening and watching to Music and Mayhem with Jon Russell. You know it.
Hey everybody, welcome to Music and Mayhem with Jon Russell. We're out here tonight at Club Carnage with Warzone Wrestling and some live bands, Solace and Nothing, some other great acts, I believe Syndicate. And we're going to go ahead and jump into some interviews here. Our first interview tonight is with our main man, Richie Ramone. Here we go.
We all learned, we all grew up, you know. We grew up streetwise.
Those were the best, you know, today, you know, punk rock and all that, you know, we were talking about, you know, you can buy punk rock, you can buy the clothes and buy the haircut, but you can't go back, you know, and have that lifestyle anymore. That's gone forever. It'll never be the same anymore. I mean, you know, New York City now, you know, it's basically for the rich and the extremely poor people, you know, there's no middle class back, you know, late 70s, early 80s, everybody lived in the city. Now they all have to live in the suburbs now because it's too expensive.
I know. I was just back there and food's off the chart cost-wise, everything.
All the new buildings in the Bowery and all these $1 million apartments, it's just, you know, it was great to be there at that time, you know, because it just won't come back.
You guys created history that can never ever be repeated. You know that?
Right.
And there's so many things that you can't say that about because history has a tendency to repeat itself in almost everything, except you guys created a lifestyle. I don't see anybody ever repeating that again.
And the music's kind of timeless too. You could still listen to this day.
I do.
Some of the stuff from back then seems, you know, a little dated when you listen to it now, but the Ramones are never dated. You can just listen to that forever. Yeah. And now they're going on to the third, maybe fourth generation of fans, you know, little kids wearing Ramones shirts.
Exactly.
So it was really special and fortunate to be a part of that band.
I saw a little girl wear it with a Ramones purse. Yeah. At the grocery store with her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the effect that you guys had was amazing. And we also, you know, were just so happy that you've been part of this project, decided to come on, be part of the project, and lead the soundtrack. You know, you're going to be the feature single on the soundtrack, and you're writing some new music,
right.
and it's not the same old music that everybody, you know, would think. You know,
right.
You're kind of taking it in a little bit of a new direction.
Yeah, well, trying to, you know, think out the box, you know, it's a different time for me, and when you write music, you know, I'm not the type who writes music and says, okay, well, now I want to write a hit, or I want to write a song like that. It just comes emotionally from within, and some are good, some are bad, but you just have to get it out of your system.
Oh, exactly.
You know, because music, you know, the pop stuff and all that today is so formulated. You know, it all sounds the same, you know, and all the auto-tune and all this stuff. It's just so perfect sounding that, you know, sometimes it, you know, gets a little annoying to me, you know, when you can predict a song exactly where it's going to go. So I just try to write from within and let it come out and then say, wow, that's good, let's use this piece and put it here and do that. That's how I said, you know, I kind of said that before, you know, with Jim, he never gave up. A lot of people do give up, you know, and another thing that I said, you know, if you're a new artist, it has to come from within. People sit down and they go, oh, I'm going to write a hit song. They listen to the radio and, you know, try to emulate that stuff. Then you end up just sounding like one of them. Maybe you'll have a hit, but who cares? Really, who cares? The one-hit wonder thing, it doesn't matter, so you make some money. You know, it just has to come from within. When I was a kid, I don't really have, you know, like, idols and things like that. I listened to everything. Now to this day, yeah, you know, on the jazz side, Buddy Rich is my idol, and John Bonham is my rock drummer idol. And that's basically it, you know. It's, I never really copied or listened to anything. I listened to all kinds of music, from classical to country to jazz to rock to metal. You know, too many kids today, they, you know, they listen to metal, and that's all they're going to do is learn metal, or they're only going to learn rock, or they're only going to learn country. And, you know, you just can't do that. You have to listen to everything and interpret it your own way. You know, you can't just, because you're just going to play those same riffs and that same beat. But what if you heard a jazz beat and you can put it in your new metal or rock song? How cool would that be, you know? So I think to be a diverse musician, you need to listen to everything. I don't say you gotta like everything, but just listen to it once in a while instead of just being so focused on one type of music. And, you know, and then you must read music. Don't forget, learn your theory.
That's exactly. Music theory is so important. You know, being able to read that sheet.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't bother with that anymore. But you know, there's millions and millions of people who are talented who never did anything, you know, and it's a shame. But you know, besides, you know, doing all those things, you just got to be in the right place at the right time to really make it happen, you know. So, and it could take a long while because it seems like today there's so many bands than there were in the 70s.
It's overkill.
There's this too many with all the TV. Everybody wants to be a star now.
With the internet, I mean, there's like 5 million bands.
Yeah, it's like, how do you break through all that? Well, you better have something new and original.
Exactly. You better be able to do something different, you know, make yourself a name. You know, and it's not so much about attaining success, because anybody can be a one-hit wonder. Mm-hmm. It's maintaining success, like the Ramones did, like you have.
Right.
Even though you took your break, people never forgot about you. People never stopped loving you. You know what I mean?
Yes, so.
You know, I remembered you, and you know, I got through my surgeries, and I'm going, I gotta get a hold of Richie. Remember? I gotta get a hold of Richie. Richie's got to lead this soundtrack. And so then, boom, I shot the email off, and he said yes, and that's good vibes, you know, good times.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, but you guys didn't really self-mythologize. You didn't need to. You guys kind of like blew up, you know, sky high on your own. Just the whole idea, the whole theory behind the Ramones.
Right. And it was, you know, the big part of the Ramones was the fans, you know, being loyal to the fans, you know, big part, you know, like a cult following. The fans were, never sell millions of records, but to assure millions of fans, you know what I'm saying?
Worldwide.
Right.
That's for sure.
Hardcore, you know everything. They know what you eat for breakfast. They know, you know.
How many bands got to walk on the Berlin Wall?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I remember standing next to that thing.
I know, I saw
We did
it.
a show right next to it.
I saw that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It got, you know, it was sold out, and it was like
Incredible.
a lot of crazy stuff going on. It's kind of scary, but you know.
Not if you're around security, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great. I mean, all the different the world tours that you did, just amazing, Richie. And I'm so glad you're back, you know, ready to just let it pour out and give it your all.
Right.
You know, because it's not so much, like I said, it's not attaining, it's maintaining. And you've done that, even though you took your break. We all have, though. We've all had to take our breaks, you know, and find something that our muse, so to speak. You know, whether it's a thing, an item, or an idea, you know, or a person.
Right.
You know, to help that influence that creativity. You know, and I need that stimulation. You know, I mean, we all do after 40 years. You know.
Yeah. Sometimes when you stop for a while, when I stopped for years, then there was something inside me, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And it was like I had to come back because stuff had to come out of me.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I started. I started almost like taking it out in relationships, you know, and I didn't know why I was like that. And then I got back into the business again, you know, working with Teenage Head and those guys up north, you know, and it was just, my life was complete then, you know. It was like that's what I was meant to do. I was meant to promote, I was meant to road tour manage, you know. I was meant to work in the studio. You know, so many different aspects of the music business I've worked in. That's what I was meant to do. I mean, I can't be a car salesman. You know what I'm saying? Well, I probably could if I had to, but it's not where my heart is.
Forget those guys. You got to go to school to be one of them. They're all the same. I don't know. There must be car salesman school. You know, where you got to like, you argue and then you leave, then they call you back, then you leave again, you know. They're all the same. I've never met like just a regular person doing that, you know.
No,
it's really, it must be like a training class for that. I don't know.
They do. They actually train you the first time the person says no. They train you for a rebuttal on the first, second, and third no's.
Okay.
That's how they do it. So they're prepared. They got their comebacks. So recently you were in Dublin and you did some recording. Want to mention the project?
Yeah, the first, you know, they're called the Gobshites. They're out of Boston, bunch of Irish guys, and in fact, Pete, the singer, you know, he was in a band called Meet the Press back in the day. They were a punk band. And then they broke off into this, which is very popular, this Irish punk stuff going on. And I've never played that kind of music, and I remember years ago they did a cover of Somebody Put Something in My Drink, one of the songs I wrote, and it was so amazing. And then who would know, like a few years later he contacts me and we go over there, we cut 18 tracks in Dublin in 3 days.
Sweet.
And it sounds really good. We actually did Drink Again, and I do a duet with him singing, and looking forward to that record sometime next year too.
Perfect.
Very interesting. The Irish drumming is a little different, a lot of toms, and but it really came out sounding good. And that, you know, Dublin's just a party town, you know. I mean, the Guinness was so delicious there. I mean, kids, you know, yelling in the streets at 3, 4 in the morning. You can't get away with that now, but the pub's packed, and, you know, we're at this place called Temple Bar. That was the area of town. It was really, really amazing. Had a wonderful time there. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
Well, it's so good to see you again, Richie, and you know, I think your work is really important. You know, what you're doing, getting it out there. You know, so many people love you and loved your work, you know, and are waiting to hear something new.
Right.
Well, we're waiting for the Richie Ramone invasion. 2012, Richie Ramone.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you all for watching. And Richie, do you want to say anything to the fans before we leave?
The fans are great. We're going to have a good time. 2012, big year.
2012, the year of Richie Ramone and Jim Rose.
Peace.
Peace.
Good deal.
All right, that was the Richie Ramone interview. Thank you, Richie, for being on the show. Pleasure to hang out and to have you in Tucson. All right, next we have up Lips from the band Anvil. He's got some really awesome words for you to hear. So we're going to go ahead and go over to Lips right now.
It's barely worth it. Like financially speaking, it's barely worth it.
I know.
It's that. It's even that. Okay?
Yeah.
I never did it for money, so that never mattered. So that's why I'm saying, for me, even if I knew that there was never going to be money, I would never have made the decision not to do it. So it makes no difference. I already knew. I had in my mind realized many years ago, like I said in the song "On Fire," I realized the cost.
Really?
A time ago. I knew, you know, I mean, why did my parents flip out, you know, that I was wanting to become a musician? Because they knew I wasn't going to make money.
Yeah,
They were trying to do everything they could to persuade me out of it. That is happening. I'm no millionaire. Nowhere near it. And I could venture to say that I'm not doing really any better than when I had a job. But the difference is, and the biggest difference, and the most gratifying difference, I don't have to have a job. My job is Anvil.
Right.
And that's the biggest winning part of all of this. It's not that I'm making millions of dollars. That I'm making a living and surviving from Anvil. That's super success.
That is. And
you know, to wish that I became a millionaire from it, it's a pipe dream.
Especially with the market.
Very, 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 very few ever do. They talk about the big four. I would venture to say that of the least of the biggest in Anthrax, they're not living in mansions, okay? More than likely not. Maybe the guys in Metallica are, but probably not the guys in Anthrax, and then everybody else underneath that. So, having said that, you're not doing this for money. I never did it for money, and even if somebody had told me 40 years ago, Lips, you're never going to make money in the music business, I probably wouldn't have cared. So, you know, when I would say that to a young kid, I don't know that I'd be doing him any favor by telling him, you're not making any money. You're never going to make money, and more than likely, you'll die broke.
It's the sad
A
way.
lot of people like to hear those kind of facts.
Yeah.
So what would be the point in saying it? If it's in your heart and you want to do music, be prepared to do it for the sake of the music and not for the paycheck.
For the love of the game.
That's right. You make your money anywhere and everywhere else, but don't depend on your music to ever bring in money, and you'll have longevity and probably success. But staying true to myself, that I wouldn't stab myself in the back by becoming a commercial commodity or selling out, I'll never do it. It won't happen. Not what I'm about.
That's good.
Well, it's very pure. That's what the biggest difference between. You know, I can't tell you how many people all along the way going, why don't you change your music so you can get on the radio? You know how many people have said that to me in the last 35 years? Couldn't even begin to count.
Well, I'm glad you never listened to them.
Well, it's not a question of listening. I do what I do, and the way I do it, that's it. I'm not going to try to preordain what something is going to be. Music should come natural from the soul. And people can tell the difference when it doesn't. So what's the point? And once you create a hit single, then you got to, how are you going to ever do it again? If it doesn't come natural and from the heart, it's a waste of time. And I'm not in any position to be going to buy hit singles from songwriters like Desmond Child. You know, I'm not going to do Lick It Up or Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Tour dates for 2012, you're doing Brazil, the Metal Open Air Festival. Then you're going to Germany, the Keep It True Festival. Then you come back all the way from Germany to Baltimore to do the Death Festival there.
That's right.
And the Maryland Death Festival, and then you head off to Sweden again. You're going to be all over the place. And
yeah, I don't even know. We may be going to Japan and Taiwan. There's all kinds of stuff that's getting filled in. Those gigs are all like weeks apart, so there's all kinds of stuff that's getting thrown in anyway. So no, we haven't sat still for 4 or 5 years now. I mean, really, it's once the movie came out in 2008, we haven't stopped. Been non-stop touring, recording, more touring, and non-stop. Pure unadulterated fun.
So great, and you're going to be doing more dates. Hopefully Japan loves you there. You know, from what we hear, all of Europe is very receptive to Anvil.
And have been for years. I mean, that's the stronghold. That's why we've had so many recordings, because we've done well in Europe.
Right.
So,
So is
the newest thing is that it's happening in the United States. That's a real big deal.
it is. It is. It's a big market.
All the other bands, and I mean all the other bands, are very either envious or very I suppose very congratulative. Either you're going to congratulate me or you're going to hate me because I did something you couldn't do. You know, so we got a lot of the both, and it's kind of cool.
It is. It's really awesome. So how many releases, how many albums have you guys released in all your years?
Well, we've done 14 studio albums.
Right.
There's 2 best-ofs.
Mm-hmm.
There's compilation CDs that we've been included in. There's a live album. I don't know, there must be close to 20 releases.
More information on the band can be seen at anvilmetal.com. That's ANVILMETAL.com. Okay.
All I know is we have a very, very ambitious agent that's booking us everywhere all over the States. And I couldn't be happier about that. Artists Worldwide is doing an incredible job, and our management, Rick Sales, is terrific people that have been keeping us working. We're really, this is living the dream, 100%, man.
Awesome.
And we're so grateful to America for embracing our band and letting us come to their country and entertain them. It's a lifelong dream come true, and we couldn't be more fulfilled and gratified at this point in our lives.
Excellent. Is there anything you'd care to shout out or say to your fans before we leave?
Well, we really look forward to having a good time at whatever gig we may see you at, and we come out and meet everybody. We'll come and shake my hand, come and say hello. That's all I can say.
All right, that was Lips from Anvil, and definitely a pleasure to have Lips on the show, and definitely looking forward to a live interview sometime, right, Lips? Awesome. Right now we're going to go into an interview with Tommy Boland from a group called NYC, really awesome guitar player, the inventor of the guitar wheel. You can go ahead and Google that, check that out. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to Tommy Boland.
Yeah, we're working with some new management and we're waiting on some things to happen. This should be a very busy year. You know, we're going to be going to the studio with Ulrich Wilde, the Grammy-nominated producer. You know, Ulrich Wilde.
The audience may not have.
Well, he did all the Static X records. He's done OTEP. He worked with Zombie, Grammy-nominated. Great producer. He's going to be doing the new stuff, and we're going to have the new album done, produced, mixed by him. And then once it's out, with the new management we're talking with and got rolling and happening, get out there. You'll see us everywhere.
And you have some pretty impressive sponsors.
Yeah, we work with a lot of great companies. You know, I'm endorsed with, you know, you go to TommyBoland.com, you see all the endorsements, but, you know, I work with Morley Pedals, they sponsor my tour, EMG Pickups, a new company, Guitar Wheels, another great product. They work with, you know, they're distributed by Alfred, and, you know, even Albion Amps. So we got a lot of great companies out there heavily promoting us, and you'll see a lot of ads in support of all that stuff as well.
So this will be the new release, and your last release was called what for the
last one was called Zyko, and the new release is called Tired of Smiling, NYC.
Do you have any idea, any kind of time frame when we might be able to hear
I would think that probably by spring, maybe sooner, but that's it pretty much right now. I'm finishing all the writing and all that.
And then we'll see some spring NYC tours?
Absolutely.
For those who don't recognize the name Tommy Boland, Tommy was famous for working with Warlock and Doro Pesch. And they're on tour in Europe right now. Hopefully you'll be able to get over to Europe sometime.
Oh yeah, Doro still tours. I was the first American in the band, and pretty much, you know, nearly just right out of high school into the band. First American in the band, and then I played in the last version of Warlock, because then it became Doro. She went solo.
Right.
She had split with some management, all this stuff, and all sorts of reasons it just became Doro. So a lot of people get confused at that, but I was the first American. You know, I played the album Triumph and Agony with the song we have is called All We Are.
Yeah.
It was a big hit.
Yeah, it was a great song.
Thank you.
Still a great song. You know, it's ageless.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm constantly still signing that CD at my shows. People bring it. I just did the NAMM show demoing in Court Guitar's booth, and people bring that up to me to sign, and I'm thrilled because I mean, a lot of blood and sweat went into that. It was a great time for me.
Well, Cork Guitar, they made a guitar after you, didn't they?
Well, this is the one they made according to my specs, a signature model, to all the designs I had with my NYC logo here, my name on the headstock. If you can read the back, that says "Fed Up and Disgusted." On the back, it's upside down now. And the 12 fret, if you zoom in on that, that says "Fuck it." So it pretty much is a New York, I'm riding the subway, get the fuck out of my way guitar.
So if somebody were to ask you exactly what genre you fit in, what would you say?
Oh, wow. It's funny, my old tech used to tell me, and this is before Guns N' Roses, man, you play Slash and Crash. That's what he used to tell me I sounded like. I'm like, okay. Just insane. I'd say pretty much just, taking a train, throwing it in a blender, put it on 90, and just like spit everything out, just insane, melody, but hooks, and just insanity, over the top playing, and just like a big fucking anvils come right through the fucking wall.
That's exactly right. I notice, you have some industrial in there.
Yeah. We work ourselves into a full lather.
Oh, you do. It's so aggressive.
Yes, it's really, I'm very pissed off. That's old. People say, "Oh, I'm pissed, angry music," but I'm really I've had it, man. I'm fucking fed up.
Yeah, with the business overall, right?
Yeah, just pretty much.
Let me ask you this.
Anybody says, "Hey, what should I do about getting in the business?" Don't. Just don't. Win the lottery, forget about it.
What's the one thing
or just really work hard,
that you know now that you wished you would have known when you got out of high school to join Doro?
What I knew then, what I knew now?
What you know now that you wished you would have known.
I learned to speak German.
Really?
I don't know. I had a choice in high school, too, German or Italian.
I know Du hast.
Du hast, yeah. Ich nicht vergessen.
There you go.
They used to try to trick me up with words like I could do like a minor bird. I can imitate anything they said. They say like anti-aircraft carrier, anti-atomkraft. I could just throw it on that, and then with a New York accent, just sounds like crazy. But why am I saying all this shit now?
Yeah, I know. That's good.
But what I knew then, what I knew now, I would say definitely it is a business. Be wary of all business things that go on, around you constantly.
Know everybody's
Know everybody. Get all the collect cards, collect names, shake hands, keep in touch. Networking is because you find out who your friends are when you're up here, and you find out where they are when you're down here, or you're coasting through the turn, or going through the fucking dog tunnel, and you come out the other side, and all the people who are all over you shit are gone. Like, what the fuck is this? This is the me, myself, and I club out here. Furthermore, you're gonna buy me this week. Unless you're knee deep in Ferraris, no one gives a fuck. In my opinion, but it's just, I guess, just very much. That's why. In Warlock, I joined. It was Doro's band, but definitely I was the first American new guitar player. It's like the car looked the same, but I was like the new engine, so it changed the sound a little bit. I put a different vibe into it. Then I had a band, Freight Train Jane, which had the singer Black and Blue, Jamie St. James. We did some good stuff for a while, and that I wasn't as much into the business end. I knew the endorsement stuff, and after that, I became the Alpha, the Omega. Now, in my band NYC, if there's anything going on, I have to know about it. The decision starts with me, ends with me. I'm a fair person. You have to keep everybody happy, but in the same sense, you never know. Murderers arrive with smiles.
That's true.
And you never know who the fuck's got a knife on their back, and make sure you got a gun that's bigger.
Well, I wish if I knew then what I know now, I would have been a lot less trusting.
I'd probably be a lawyer.
Business people. You'd probably be a lawyer.
Lawyer. People say I should be a lawyer, car salesman, or someone walks on late night TV. I've heard all that shit.
I think you could be a hell of an actor too, Tom.
When I first started, the first thing I wanted to be a race car driver. Then I was the comedian all through school. I was doing all the plays and all that shit, and comedian, all that. Then the guitar showed up, and just everything went out the fucking window. It became just like that thing, and luckily I was very close to my parents. They're very supportive. So I'm lucky now. I work very hard to get all my equipment. All my endorsements are endorsed. I get all my stuff free. But I take that as a privilege.
Right.
And back then, of course, you needed something. You worked your ass off to get it. I was a guitar teacher. For many years, right from the time I joined Warlock, for like 5 years I taught. That's why even when I put a video out, a couple years back, Metal Primer, it was a lot harder than because the quality of the instruments were garbage in some of them. You could only afford. But now the quality's gotten a lot better, and you just put all your heart into it. Well, in Europe, it's weird. In Europe, they take their music a lot different. It's a lot, they're very much into a band shredding and jamming, and really into the whole virtuosic aspect of it. And it's just they're different with their music. That's all I can say. And I respect both sides. Whether it's people in Europe digging it or whatever, but when we landed in Europe with, Warlock, they were just, out of their fucking minds,
Yeah.
They were just, people walk up to me knowing more about me than I knew about myself. They're like, how the fuck did you find this shit? They were just very into if they're a fan of yours, they're into you. They're into it. And good stuff, never goes away,
Yeah.
If it's good, and there's a demand for it, it'll come back. And people want to see you play an instrument again, They want to hear guitar solos, they want to hear you play about the 12th fret or make the guitar sing, Doesn't mean necessarily you have to be playing 900 miles an hour. I'm the first guy to, play at light speed or go bananas or fucking, flip out. But, in the same sense, they want to hear, something.
Yeah,
they want to and they want to be entertained. If you got, like 5 guys in flannel shirts with guitars under their chin and they're just fucking, ripping it and like, okay, do something, make me think you're enjoying it at least. Break a sweat, motherfucker. What the hell? And that's not to knock the people who just sit there. I got friends of mine, a friend of mine is a great jazz guitarist, Jimmy Stewart. He can just sit here and just rip the guitar inside out, and he won't even bust a sweat, and that's a whole other story, But in that genre, like I said, I remember my mother would send me to go buy a pair of jeans and sneakers. I come home with a fuzz box and a delay pedal. She go, what the fuck? She starts flipping out. Goes, that thing, I never take, because money is important. You don't have much money to do much stuff. And when a kid buys a ticket, you gotta give him everything. You leave it on the stage or don't bring it at all. I definitely Kiss influenced me. My brother was a big fan of all the guitar greats, so definitely, Jimmy Page, Richie Blackmore. Page played all the blues bass. Blackmore played the more exotic scales. And then Frank Marino came around, put it all in the blender, and just went bananas. And I heard Frank Marino play, I went, holy shit. And that kind of inspired me. Then you start listening to other people, you pick up along stuff, you hear great songs like from Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, the vibe, the groove, they're playing different leads and all this. So you listen to everything, you put it in the blender and you forget it. And make it your own, because you don't want to become a clone of somebody, because then, like everywhere you turn on, there's a tribute band. Like, no one wants to write their own music, they want to, dress up like Angus Young or this, and that's cool when you do it to that level, but no more tribute bands. Write a song, and it's killing the club, it's killing everything, because some clubs only book that exclusively, because, I understand the draw of it, I can see the business aspect, but it's absolutely just infested with tribute bands now everywhere. Wow. I can respect it, people do it good, but eventually it's just like, there's a decline of original bands that are touring. I've encountered more tribute bands, like, what the hell? Enough. Write a song already. Yeah.
They're going to.
I'm gonna get a lot of flack for all this shit. I'm sure of it. I know it. Like death threats and stuff. But I don't know. Like if you see me play, you see what I do, then you dig it, great. You don't, hey, what the fuck? Well, I get up there and I just, it's weird. People come and say, hey, what do you want, man? What are you doing? I don't know. I just, I've had people like, imitate me air guitar wise, and it's just, it's like something snaps to my head, my eyes roll back, and suddenly it's like Superman coming out of the booth, and you're flipping out, and when you got all the right gear and the car's running well, you're just gone, suddenly you're that. It's a way of living out a lot of, just real core energy that it's so primal you can't explain. This sounds like a fucking head trip here, but it's just the way to describe it. When you're gnashing the strings and you get that feeling in the core, it's like there it is.
I can tell.
Then you're everything you ever wanted to be when you're in that zone. You're the popular guy at school. You're the captain of the fucking football team.
Yeah.
You're A number one. You're the king of New York. You're the Duke of New York. Forget about it. You're everything you want to be. And then suddenly you come back. It's like a rush. But it's the tidal wave of that adrenaline. And if the audience is with you, then you're gone, dude. You're fucking
Man down, man down. I told you. Vanny, bring me everyone. What do you mean everyone?
It fades in time.
right, thank you very much, Tommy. That was awesome. We're going to go ahead and move on to another interview with one of my personal band members, Jon Russell, and we're going to discuss the new drum company tuning system called Rotec. All right, we're going to go ahead and step into this one. Thank you very much. Hi, welcome to Music and Mayhem with Jon Russell. We're here in Space Smoke Shop, downtown Tucson, Arizona, and this is Jon Russell. We are in the group Stands with Fists, and we're not here really to talk about Stands with Fists today, but what we are here to talk about is Rotec drums. It's actually a tuning system. Rotec's up and coming, and it's really getting ready to launch, and I'd like to ask Nick, what do you have to say about Rotec? What is Rotec, and where do you see it going?
Awesome, man. Well, thanks. It's awesome to be here. You know, we practice right downstairs in Stands with Fists, so it's always cool to be here. What Rotec drum tuning systems is a revolutionary new way to tune your drums using a one-touch motion, if you would, as opposed to a tuning key where you're going over 8, 10, 12,
Like spinning, like
there's no 12 volt drums.
Top,
I don't think
like
there's any
spinning
12
on the top of like a mason jar or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a jar.
Okay.
And what it does is it applies even pressure all the way around the drum head as you go left loose, right tight. And what it does is it has a rotating outer hoop that applies pressure with some rollers on an inner hoop that locks it down on the bearing edge with the drum head. It's really cool. You should check it out at Rotec Drum Tuning Systems.
RotecDrumTuningSystems.com.
No, it's RotecDrumSystems.com.
RotecDrumSystems.com.
RotecDrumSystems.com. I think they put something. I think they got some.
So you guys have been going to the.
I'm forgetting everything, dude. I don't even know.
That's okay.
I don't even know my own website for that.
Cool. All right, so I have another question for you. You've been going to the NAMM show for the last couple of years, about 3 or 4.
Three NAMM shows.
3 NAMM shows. Okay. Can you tell me about any of the artists you've been working with, or who Rotec is working with?
Absolutely. Rotec Drum Systems has been very fortunate that the last 3 NAMM shows have been very, very successful in terms of meeting new artists, spreading the word, meeting other companies, and just other great like-minded people. This last NAMM show, NAMM 2012, we had Jerome Flood and Joey Oscar and Javon Dawkins all perform an expo at the Hilton across the street from the NAMM convention, where everybody goes to hang out afterwards.
Yep.
It was really bad. It was badass. You remember it from last year?
And Javon and these guys are part of a tour that's going to be happening. You got any information on the tour?
The Drummers for Life, you can find out more information online at the Drummers for Life, and they perform all throughout the country. The 3 of them, they're amazing. They absolutely amazing. I mean, Jerome Flood, for instance, is a former Guitar Center drum-off champion. Jerome Flood's huge in the gospel industry, as well as his independent work. Joey Oscar is also really big in the gospel industry, playing with some really big artists like Kim Burrell. And Javon Dawkins is not only a drummer, he's a producer. He plays with Sir Mix-a-Lot. Christina Milian plays with a lot of really big names. But it was really cool having them all up there. We had this really big stage and 3 drum sets going. It was cool. We had, after they did their performance, we had a bunch of other people come in and just like start playing on the drums. Everybody loved them. It was really great. It was great. It's going to be fun.
Excellent. Another question I had is the spinning drum tuning system. The inventor, David Spinazzola. Can you tell me about David Spinazzola?
Yeah, isn't that funny that his name would turn out to be Spinazzola? I mean,
right.
What are the odds of that? Yeah, he's a cool guy. Very down to earth. He got into like inventing stuff and making things work more efficiently when it came to motorcycle racing, and he used to work on a crane, so he always like find better ways to do things, and he used to make motorcycle parts. And funny thing was he wanted to go and play drums, wanted to learn how to play them, and hated the way he had to tune them. Right. So he got sidetracked with learning how to play drums, and actually spent like the last 7+ years inventing this system and proving it.
So if you want to save time, use Rotec drum tuning system. That's a fact.
It's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in. I've had the privilege to hook up with Dave maybe like going on 3 years ago, and I found him on the internet on YouTube, and I was poking around watching drummers and watching just stuff about drums, and I saw this video come up, and it was about this dude showing us this video of how this drum system tuned and how it worked, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna put that on the back of my mind. A couple weeks later, doing the same thing, popped back up. I said, man, I'm gonna call, email, whatever. Went to his website and it was kind of under construction. He was still working on it. Make a long story short, hit him up. Developed a really neat relationship with him. Been working for him for the last 3 NAMM shows, and we're looking to really make 2012 the big launch here with a lot of big name artists yet to be announced. A lot of things going on. It's gonna be fun, man. You'll know.
Sure, and
you'll be
I've
right
seen some
there.
really big artists check this stuff out. I can't name names, but let's just say that they're on it and they're involved with this future drum tuning system. It's pretty awesome. Once again, David Spinazzola did a great job on that, and
yeah, check it out at rotecdrumsystems.com.
Rotec Drum Tune Systems. One more
See,
time.
I got it right this time. I did got it wrong.
Right.
See,
boom, boom.
Check it out at rotecdrumsystems.com. You don't have to shout.
All right, thank you very much, Nikion. That was awesome. Definitely check out Rotec, up-and-coming drum tuning systems. All right, Jon Russell here with my good friend Jay Sinister. He does the Warzone Wrestling. What's it like running the Warzone Wrestling?
Well, I don't exactly run the Warzone Wrestling, but I am the voice of Warzone Wrestling. And what we do here in Tucson is we bring the best hardcore wrestling known to man together with great local music. That's what the Warzone's all about. And we've been doing this for quite a long time. We've had the pleasure of working with a lot of great bands. And we're about to get another show started right here. So, and I want to thank you guys for coming out. It's good to have you guys here. We're all here to help support Trey Ratson and his charity event and help raising some money for his polycystic kidney disease that he's been faced with. And we're all brought together by this little boy to put on a great show tonight.
All right, thank you, Jay Sinister. Definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. Stay in touch. We're going to go ahead and move on to a world-famous artist, Brian Carlton. Amazing guy. Definitely going to be doing some things with him in the future. All right, we're going to go ahead and meet Brian right now.
Hi, this is Gypsy here, and we're interviewing world-famous artist Brian Carlton. He does excellent work, and as you can see behind us, and what has been your inspiration? What, for instance, made you want to be an artist? When did you get the bug?
Well, I realized early on in my life when I was young that
Right.
I had a talent.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I have a pencil drawing over here of James Hetfield,
Right.
done in 1987 when I was just 17 years old.
Right.
And I won the school district art contest with that drawing.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Are you getting it? All right. And
So I realized that I had a talent for it. I wasn't particularly an inspired type of artist, you know,
Right.
that I had a passion for it, but I really had a talent for it. So I recognized that I could do things with this, that I could have a career, and I expounded on that in my career. I just continued to work on drawing, and then I eventually went into graphic design, which led to computer graphic design when computers came out. I remember we used to do art back when computers didn't exist.
Exactly.
You remember that time,
oh, yeah,
right?
I do.
And so we did, you know, I grew up with the computers and I got into graphic design, which kind of pulled me away from the fine art for a long time, for the last 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, because you do a lot of commercial work.
Oh,
You do logos and things
Yes.
like that. Well, that led me into manufacturing management. Then I got out of art completely. I was just running manufacturing boxes.
Right.
And in the crash of '09, I lost my job doing that. So I came back to Tucson, started going to college, and started painting again. And I ended up getting into a gallery art gallery over on Speedway and Stone. And through that, I met Mark Levitin. And he's really been an inspiration to me, a mentor, a coach. He's a master of fine arts. He's really transformed my view of art and my technique and everything. He's really inspired me. So I have to give him a lot of credit for that. And that's led to the last few years of a lot of success, showing in galleries, getting involved as the vice president over here at Industrious Studios.
Beautiful.
And selling a lot of work.
And you're producing some beautiful artwork. This is the very first picture that I saw right here. And it's like when you look at it from farther away, you see something a little different, and then when you get up on it, you notice that it really is the baby.
Right.
But you had no inspiration for that. What made you want to do the baby?
Well, I have a few inspirations. As you can see from my earlier work, I was really focused on what they call photorealism.
Right.
Where your work is very technical and it looks very photographic.
Exactly.
But I really wanted to expand and become, develop my own style.
Right.
So that if my name was not on the piece, you would still recognize that that was a Carlton piece.
Exactly.
And so, again, through the help of Mark Leviton, helping me to expand the way I think about what I'm creating, I really began to look at doing my work differently.
Right.
So I broke out of realism and developed a brand new style that I call fusion modeling. Fusion means mixing of paint, and modeling is how you model a form.
Right.
You create a form. So what it ends up being is most of your abstract work, this is a form of abstract work, but it's abstract realism. Most of your abstract work remains abstract. For instance, this section right here of this picture would be an abstract picture by itself.
Right.
There's no form.
Right.
So I combined the realism and the abstraction and created a form of abstract realism, very much in the vein of Chuck Close, who does images that if you look from a distance creates a very realistic looking form, but when you move up close and you see how it's formed, it's created out of very loose abstract use of color.
Exactly.
So I'm very excited about the style. I'm inspired by the technique itself.
Right.
It's lending itself to a lot of new images filled with lots of energy and power and movement in the work. And the other side of my inspiration right now is I'm trying to really focus on images that raise empathy.
Empathy.
Where you would look, for instance, at this baby.
Right.
The reason I chose this image is because it's very cute, but it's very sad at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So
makes you want to hold the baby.
Right. It's a compelling image.
Exactly.
It compels you to want to help that person or help that child. So that image is right in your face. It touches you emotionally, and it moves you. And that's what art should do.
So your art not only stimulates people visually, but emotionally as well.
Exactly.
And that's what you're trying to create.
That's a big influence on me right now and a motivation of mine.
Well,
I want my work to speak that way.
It is speaking. It is speaking.
Well, thank you.
You do beautiful work.
Thank you very much.
And we're so fortunate to be able to come down here today and into your workspace and to be able to see your art and to be able to learn a bit about you.
This right here is the very first piece that I did in the new fusion modeling technique.
Right.
So I really enjoy, and you really have to kind of see it from a distance and then look at it up close. You see a lot of energy and movement in the paint. I like how the glow of light goes around the figure.
Almost like an aura.
So once I really produced this piece, I knew I had something really special.
Right.
And so I just began moving through different types of images to exploit the energy and the electricity of this style. So one of my all-time favorites, as you can see from 25 years ago, is James Hetfield from Metallica. And
well, I thought this was my ex-wife, but
no, your ex-wife, very attractive.
Thank you.
This actually, alongside of the technique, which I really think works well in this kind of a piece. Alongside of that, I'm also utilizing the impact of an in-your-face, up-front type of imagery.
Right.
If you notice, what you see in different images, like this one, for instance, you are the observer looking at this image, but you are not in the image. You're not being confronted by it. But an image like this, or an image like this, or an image of Christ that I have up there with his face right in you, it's the eyes. You know, when you are confronted with the face looking at you, now you are in the image.
Exactly.
Now it has confronted you and pulled you in. So you're no longer the outside observer.
You're looking at it from the inside.
You're confronted.
Exactly.
So I'm really using that as an inspiration for many of my new images as well. Like, for instance, this new one.
You see that?
So this is a very compelling image, like I spoke about. It draws you in. It raises your empathy for this young boy. It's a boy that is in Peru. This is an actual event that happened. And again, the eyes are looking right at you. So you're drawn right into this. You're not observing this from a distance or as a voyeur.
Right.
You are participating with this because you're looking at him and he's looking at you. So that's a very strong direction that I'm headed in my work right now.
Right. You're doing a marvelous amount of excellent work that we haven't really been able to see before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm having a tremendous amount of success right now. My work is in high demand.
So this is one of the pieces that he showed at the Raw Artist Showcase. And he's going to give us an idea now where we can go to actually see his art, you know? Or maybe if you're even lucky enough as we are to be able to come down here and watch him at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we do actually encourage that. My studio here is at 1441 East 17th Street. It's called Industrious Studios.
Very good.
Inc. And it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We hold classes and
you inspire other young artists who are
absolutely,
trying to
absolutely. We have artists in residencies.
Right.
We we have every possible tool that an artist could dream of in this studio, for woodworking, for metalworking, for fabrication.
Right.
We've got welders, we've got plasma cutters, and one thing that we have that very few people have is we pour bronze at this location.
Wow.
So we make bronze sculpture here. We are open to the public and we encourage artists to come and collaborate with us.
Oh, and where else, what other studios or galleries can we see your work?
Well, you can find my work in Art Gallery over on Speedway and Stone. I'm a stable artist in that location. We have a gallery here at Industrious Studios.
Right.
And we do regular shows monthly or bi-monthly. We put out calls to artists, so many of the local artists in Tucson know me and see those shows come along.
Okay.
You can also find me on fineartamerica.com, where all of my work can be bought by, you can buy prints of the work, plus the originals are for sale on that website as well.
Nice.
You can look through past shows and look at a lot of the great sculpture and fabrication that we do here at Industria at industriastudios.org. And then, of course, you can find me on Facebook, Brian Carlton on Facebook.
That's where we met.
That's right. That's where we met. And you can just, I'm all over the internet, so you can just Google
Brian Carlton.
Brian Carlton Art.
Art. Okay.
And you'll find a lot of my work.
Perfect. And it was such an honor for us to be able to come down to here to see your work, and to get an explanation about this fusion
modeling.
Fusion modeling. It's a very new concept from what I understand.
Yes.
Just from the past couple years, and you're expounding on that, correct?
That's right.
Excellent. So we want to thank very much for Brian Carlton to allow us into Industrious Studios here where they do all their fine work. Is there anything else you care to add? You want to say goodbye to your fans, or is there anything you want to say?
Well, I just want to say thank you very much to all of my friends and fans. Appreciate all the success that you've brought to me. And I hope I can continue to inspire people in Tucson and Arizona and throughout the world.
You know, even though I may not be an artist, you've inspired me to try and do better, and that's what you're doing for all of us. And for that, I want to thank you very much.
All right,
and
thank you very
for
much.
Your time.
All right, thank you very much to Brian Carlton. And we're going to go ahead and close out the show tonight. Thank you very much for checking out Music and Mayhem with Jon Russell. I'm going to go ahead and give some shout-outs to the help behind the scenes. We have APR, Gypsy, Duke and Cat at dukeandcat.com. Once again, thank you for checking out Jon Russell's Music and Mayhem.
Ho, ho.